Hello there, darlings. Welcome to the Clockwork Cabaret. They are old, they are not hip. They are the weird aunties that you didn't know you needed or wanted. And now, for a friendly reminder, this show is for adults. That darling DJ duo, Emmett Davenport and Lady Attercop, drink cocktails, have potty mouths, and at least one of them was raised by wolves.
And with the sound of the cuckoo, you know that it is time for the Clockwork Cabaret!
Hooray!
Hi, I'm Emmett Davenport.
And I'm Lady Attercop.
And I don't know what kind of energy we're bringing to this show today, but it's probably going to be weird.
Can't be any worse than last week.
No, the milk tangent was...
Let me tell you, I thought all weekend and all week about it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was...
Guilt-ridden or more like...
No, just contemplating. Continue to contemplate.
The milk.
The milk.
Oh, yeah.
And then you informed me that there is some peoples that drink horse milk.
Oh, yeah.
Fermented horse milk.
Yes, there is.
And then that was in my brain for, a week.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually looked it up online to find out.
And this is why we're friends.
Yes, all of the weird, or not, it's not even necessarily weird.
No, it's
non-traditional to us.
Yeah, non-Western
the Western
traditional
weird milk.
I mean, honestly, it's a weird thing to do in general.
Yes.
And we also learned all about cheeses and all about what kinds of cheeses humanity has made.
Yes.
Current, modern humanity. And the answer is all of them. The answer is if somebody can get enough milk to make a cheese, they will.
Yes.
And they will sell it. And some weirdo out there will serve it at their restaurant, including when the milk comes from his own wife.
It's true. It's gross.
So, hey.
And they got shut down.
Yeah. You can't do that. It's not legal.
There's no regulation.
It's not FDA approved.
There's no regulation.
Sharon's milk has not been approved by the FDA.
I'm shocked and surprised that it's not.
I'm shocked and appalled.
No. Yeah. So that's... Yeah. So
we're not hungry.
We're not.
So there might be... Let's talk of food.
Maybe.
I don't promise that.
I don't know. I've been baking all day, so for the cafe, so
You're sick of it.
So I'm tired of food. Really, food is. I've lost all interest. No,
food is overrated. It's not overrated. Eat your meal. Have you eaten yet today? You should have a snack. Has it been 4 hours? Have a snack.
Is it a well-balanced meal? Have you had your vegetables?
Strive for a well-balanced meal, but if you can't figure that out, don't worry about it. Just get something in your stomach.
Yeah. Crackers.
Well, sometimes food is hard for me. Like, I'm one of those people that if I did not live with another person and in society, I would be...
You would eat Soylent.
I would be those weirdos that chug Soylent, because sometimes I just don't want to be hungry anymore. Which is why I have to really monitor myself if I have a jar of peanuts in the house. Because you can eat a handful of peanuts, and that'll tide you over for like 15 to 30 minutes. And then I don't have to eat. Sometimes food's just hard. I don't know what to make. I can't muster up the executive function to feed myself if I'm alone. So, yeah.
Well, I understand that. I mean, most of my cooking skills come from cooking for multiple people. So I will say that when I am by myself, I tend to like go and eat a piece of cheese.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Shredded cheese out of the bag.
Yes,
straight out of the bag.
Or like a piece of salami. Like, ooh.
Yeah. Charcuterie boards are just...
I could make a sandwich, but no.
It's too much effort.
That requires work.
I could just eat the meat. I could just have the sliced meat rolled up and shoved into my face.
Right. Well, and periodically I have caught myself where I have eaten all of the elements of a sandwich.
Right.
Without actually eating the sandwich. Like, I eat the bread, and then I eat the cheese, and then I have the meat, and then I might eat a tomato or an onion or something, and then
bite into an onion like an apple.
I have done that before.
Have you really?
Yes. Yeah.
My grandfather used to do that.
No, one of the a nostalgic thing that my grandmother taught me. She used to make onion sandwiches.
Okay, I don't have a problem with onion sandwiches.
Yeah.
Sliced with some kind of...
I've eaten onions right out of the garden, fresh out of the garden, rinsed off, and just eaten them out of my mouth.
I don't have any experience with fresh onions.
Yeah, so that's
I've only ever had store-bought.
Or, like, eating a whole tomato right out of the garden.
See, eating a whole tomato isn't weird to me. Biting into an onion, like an apple, is the part that I like onions. I love a raw onion.
So it was a good, fresh out of the garden spring onion that I ate. And I rinsed it off. I washed it off and stuff, but then I just popped it in my mouth.
Is it big, little?
It was a tiny one.
I need to, okay.
It was tiny.
It was bite-sized.
Yeah, it was like a 2-bite. It was a 2-bite thing. It wasn't like
a pearl onion.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't like a...
Yeah, I'm picking like...
I'm not thinking like... It wasn't like
a Vidalia.
Yellow, yeah, it wasn't a white onion or a Vidalia.
Onion.
Yeah, no, it wasn't one of those...
Because that's what my grandfather used to do.
Well, yeah.
He would
that's
just take
crazy.
a whole lot... Not even a red onion, not even a Vidalia, not even anything sweet or...
Yeah. Just a
big
old
onion.
yellow onion.
Your average onion, white onion, yellow onion, whatever he had, and he would just crunch into it. He also would just throw whole cloves of garlic into his mouth and chaw on those. So,
wow,
I don't know. He's
how
a weird
do you get
guy.
a date?
He had 3 wives. I mean, one of those wives was the same wife twice, but he had 3 wives. So,
I guess it wasn't stopping him.
No, he was married to my step-grandmother for my entire life, so until his death. So, I don't know, he was doing something right. Maybe it was his swarthy European charm that won her over. I have no idea, but, it was the Belgian grandpa.
Maybe she really liked the smell of onions and garlic.
Well, he was deaf. Maybe she couldn't smell. Maybe that's why they stayed together so long.
He couldn't hear her kvetching, and she couldn't smell him.
She couldn't smell his onion breath.
Yeah. Well, very easily could be that.
Maybe it was his nightly martini that just rinsed it all down.
Yeah.
I have no idea. And it's also, it does dawn on me now that I'm telling this story that this might have been a grandpa thing to do to freak out the children.
Oh, quite possibly. My grandfather had a weird finger that had been injured, and so the tip of it was very much the bone.
Right. There was no padding.
Yeah, there was no padding, and he really liked to take that finger and tap you in the forehead when he thought you were being irritating, and he thought it was the funniest thing.
Just a little mild child abuse.
Yes, but it was just tap, and it was the weirdest feeling to have that bony finger tap your forehead. Yeah, just
I mean, this is.
It wasn't painful. It was. He just did it. He just did it lightly, but it still felt weird because that's not how fingers feel.
Right. That you don't. You normally get a bone to the head.
Yeah.
When someone touches you.
And it was and he just thought it was the funniest thing. And this is my grandfather who was not known for a sense of humor. So
this was the secret agent grandfather.
Yeah, this secret agent
grandpa.
Grumpy Scottish grandfather.
Well, yeah.
Or that I only realized he was Scottish until meeting other people with Scottish family members and then realizing that, oh, wait, suddenly everything makes sense as to why he behaves that way.
No offense to our Scottish listeners.
No, not at all.
You know that you have a relative in your family that survived some war somewhere.
Yeah.
That's terrible. And those would have been our relatives. Yeah. Because my great-grandmother, who was the Scottish one, was the one that had the cat o' nine tails that she used to hit kids with and also would slap them. And also said a homophobic slur right to Liberace's face.
Oh.
Well, not to his face, within his hearing.
Enough so that he responded.
Yes.
Yes.
my uncle, her son, my grandmother's brother, had taken my great grandmother to see Liberace at Radio City Music
Because he thought that was probably going to be a grand night out.
It was the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, it was the 80s. He was very popular.
Yeah.
He played the piano. He thought she might like it.
Yeah.
They were in some restaurant afterwards that had big high booths in the city. And he asked her what she thought of the show, and she said, "Oh, he plays piano, but he plays piano pretty well for a slur." And Liberace was in the booth next to them, and so he turned around and he peeked around and was like, "Glad you liked the show." And went back, and that's my Liberace story, and it involves my great grandmother's horrible homophobia.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, she was the kind of woman that would, slap you in the face, and if you didn't wince, would then be like, "Oh, so you're a big boy now," and slap you harder the second time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about how, the way they show love is by beating the crap out of you.
Beating the crap out of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, her husband was a World War I vet. Yeah, so not a lot of good mental health. Mm. And my grandfather, the one that had all the martinis and ate the onions, and I was not aware, was constantly drinking Crown and Coke until I was an adult.
Oh, yeah, that's
and had one and went, "Oh, this is what Grandpa smelled like."
Oh,
he was a World War II vet. So, a whole couple of generations just ruined by warfare.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's
horrible warfare.
My grandfather, I never saw him drink. I think he was a teetotaler.
Mm.
I think in the earlier part of their existence, they drank because there was a bar down in the...
Oh, my grandparents had a bar in their basement as well.
Yes, and at some point they had pool parties and things like that.
Yeah,
and
there was a pool table, or ping pong table down there.
The swimming, they had a swimming pool, and they also had a ping pong table, and there were remnants of things that made me think at some point they actually had an active social life. But since I knew them, I never saw them do any of that. My grandmother had a bunch of fancy old dresses that were hanging up because they had to go to fancy parties because my grandfather had been...
he was the spy.
Well, yeah,
as far as we know.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But they went to sojourners parties and which sojourners are the military division of the Masons.
Of the Freemasons.
Yeah, and then he,
like Freemasons, only weirder.
Yes, only the military ones. But he, I've never seen, I never saw him drink a beer. I never saw him ever have a cocktail, but my grandmother would sneak wine. She had box of wine down
that sounds...
Yes.
That sounds healthy.
She had a box of wine. Or those big giant...
oh, God, not the jugs.
Gallo. Yes.
Oh, no, with the little handles.
Yeah, that little handles. She had some of those down in the basement where the laundry room was. And periodically... if you were, when I would stay there for the weekend or for summer or something like that, she would be down there doing laundry, drinking a glass of wine and smoking a cigarette.
I mean,
down in the basement, and then she would put it out and put it out in a damp paper towel that she kept in her house dress. And she swore that my grandfather had no idea she was smoking.
I mean, maybe if he had been gassed
maybe
at some point during World War II. And it had eroded away his sense of smell.
Yeah.
Much like my grandmother's sense of smell with my onion chop and grandpa.
Yeah.
But neither Emmett or I ever smoked a lot, because my lungs don't work very good. But we both smoked.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Recreationally, I would say.
No, I was a punk.
Yeah,
punk kid in the 90s.
I was a little goth. I was my little goth self in the late 90s, early 2000s.
I hung out
back when clove cigarettes were
I hung
legal.
out in the smoking section in high school.
Oh, I didn't hang out at the smoking section.
in the at the Friendly's restaurant.
Oh yeah, or
with the bottomless cup of coffee.
Oh yeah.
Where I felt looking back, I felt really bad for the poor wait staff that had to deal with us.
We did that at an IHOP. We had the smoking section outside at an IHOP.
Oh, yeah.
With the bottomless cup of terrible coffee.
Yes.
And now I wonder why my stomach is a wreck.
Yeah.
But we both, I'm just saying, so we have some experience with both cigarettes and butts.
Yeah.
And so can you just imagine?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you put it out in a damp paper towel so it's not going to catch fire. That's not going to keep it from stinking.
No.
And you've been smoking in an enclosed area.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the only way you can palate that terrible, terrible wine is with a cigarette because it's the only thing that'll kill the taste of both.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Grandpa knew.
Yeah. Oh, no. He had to
not.
He had to have known. There was
That's
no
like my
way.
grandpa eating an onion.
I'm fairly certain that he just lived in faux ignorance because he didn't
It's just, I don't
it
want
was
to deal
one of
with
those
this.
like if it makes her happy to be sneaky about it,
You go downstairs and you
don't
drink
do
your
that.
terrible wine.
Yeah, sometimes
and
she'd
smoke
go
your cigarette.
outside. She'd go outside on the porch and smoke.
Yeah. I have an aunt who smokes, who has been smoking since the 60s and denies it, but we all know because whenever you get a gift from said aunt, it smells of air freshener and cigarettes.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you, Aunt Nancy.
But
she doesn't listen to this podcast.
Yeah,
it's fine. I can call her by name.
And grandfather, I think he had stopped smoking in the 60s because a doctor suggested that he should.
Oh.
And he went, Okay.
Yeah, my grandfather did this.
Because he used to smoke a pipe.
Yeah.
He used to smoke a pipe. And so he stopped. But this is also the grandmother who drank the worst cup of tea imaginable.
Oh yes, we've had discussions with her.
Yeah, she would drink Lipton bag tea using tap water. Warm tap water.
Because I talked about my boss who microwaved tap water for 10 seconds and then just dumped the tea bag in it for 30 seconds and then reused that same tea bag all day long. And I was like, why do you hate yourself?
Yeah, and
I was this is the most psychotic thing I've ever seen.
No. Watching a grown person heat up tap water, just putting her hand under it, waiting for it to be warm enough, and then putting that into the teacup.
This would make either a good bath or a great cup of tea.
Yes, that was how she drank her tea. And I thought it was because she didn't have a tea kettle, and so I bought her one year, and she had just sat on the stove. She never used it.
She's like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. I also bought her nice tea. She never used it.
No.
And I was like, oh.
See, in my family, if you
like this.
This is your choice.
You have chosen
I mean, maybe it's an old rationing thing.
Probably. I know. I mean.
Yeah, because she at least has the excuse of being.
Yeah, she was
living through World War II.
She was born in the early 1920s. So yes,
so number one, depression. Number two, rationing. World War, and she was in the military.
Yes.
So the gentleman I worked for, he was in his 30s.
So he had no
definitely had not.
So he was just
lived
gross.
Through rationing. He was just a strange man.
Yeah. That'll also do it. All right. With that note, we should probably start playing some music because that's actually why we're here and not weird family history.
You're wondering why we're the way we are.
There you go.
There was a bee, a pretty little bee. I see why you might choose it. I'd rather have a madman wasp, 'cause he plays all the music.
Choose the madman wasp. He plays all the music.
We love a good Walter Sickert song.
I know. I keep trying to pick music that's not like the 4 bands that I love that we love so much, and well, I mean it keeps growing. So originally it was a lot of like there was always a Tom Waits song on pretty much every episode,
Nick Cave.
and then Nick Cave, and then it became added Walter Sickert to it, and now it's the Charming Disaster, and then like there's been a couple other bands that we usually can't go for very long without playing.
Squirrel Nut Zipper's always on there. Two Man Gentleman Band is a lot on there a lot. Blair Crimmins.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, when a band has a very large discography, it's very easy to find a song that fits whatever kind of theme that we're doing.
And we know who we are.
Yes,
and we know what we like.
Yeah.
You put a kazoo in there? Oh, well, tell me more, friend. Is there a theremin?
Yes.
Well, now.
Do you have a saw?
Oh.
A toy piano?
The other day I was at work. This is a true story. I was at work and someone had on, it was a Decemberist song with a theremin in it. And it was not one that I immediately recognized. And I went, did I put this on the playlist? I am not super familiar with this song. I'm surprised I put this on the playlist because I just went, is this the Decemberists? Is that a theremin? And the receptionist at the salon where I work went, oh yeah, we're listening to my playlist and I like sad white boy music. I was like, I just thought I had an out-of-body moment and put a theremin song on a playlist I didn't recognize. Continue. Also, what is that song? I need the name of that song. Is this a new one? I don't know this one. Hold on. What am I listening to?
I had to make a new playlist for the cafe because the standard one apparently everyone else was getting tired of, and I like it. I mean, it's a lot of jazz standards and very old music, and then it dawned on me like, wait, the music of the 80s and the 90s are now considered classics and oldies. Oh, wait. Hold on a minute. I have a huge plethora. So I actually dug into the cafe music that I had from when I worked in a coffee shop in the 90s.
And now it's vintage.
Yes, and I just pulled all of that out and put it on the playlist for the cafe, and several.
After you made sure the explicit lyrics were turned off.
And I've had several compliments, and one of the other baristas had commented like, I really like the new playlist, and I was like, it's funny. It's like, I don't.
I get burnt out on my own playlists really easily. I also sometimes have to remember, okay, who's in here? Hold on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there is.
Like, let me deselect a couple of songs.
Yeah, that is true. Those
are for me.
Yeah, my personal playlists are usually a lot filthier.
Oh, they're not usually. I'm pretty good about remembering if the songs are filthy, but there's only so much Tuvan throat singing everyone else wants to listen to.
Oh.
And it's less than me. So, yeah, I can get away with 1 to 3 per playlist, but after that I have to remember it's perhaps a bit too much.
Oh, yeah. No, I like to just sprinkle that. I just put one.
I'm not putting a
one
lot.
One or 2. Yeah.
But sometimes there's 2 or 3.
Oh.
You know, they go with my playlist theme every time. At least I think so.
Oh, yeah.
And also, I do have to remember I might be a little bit more,
biased?
Screeching punk vocals.
Oh, yeah.
Than other people are willing to listen to.
Oh, yes.
There might be a little bit more screeching punk vocals than other people like. So.
Yeah, Well, so I try and pick music, at least in the cafe, I try and pick music that's like nice background music. I try to pick stuff that like someone could work to without being distracted.
And I think I've done that, except for the times when someone goes, "What is playing?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, that was me. I'm sorry. There's a whiny boy with an accordion. That was my bad." I will skip to the next now. I'm sorry. You didn't want to hear Julie Rubin go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry. Let me just skip to the next one.
Yeah.
It is a bit much for 10 a.m.
Yes, sure.
You. I don't even try with some of our favorite bands from this podcast. I don't even try with.
Oh yeah, no.
Because I know.
Yeah. Oh no, I know as well. And I do have a steampunk playlist.
I do too.
That I have.
It's a bit more mainstream.
I often have it put on. I don't put it on. Someone else will put it on, and then I have to go up and go, nope.
Oh, hold on.
Like, this song
deselect.
These songs are more for steampunk after dark.
These are something. Look, do you know what she's singing about when she says, if I can't sell it, I'll just sit on it? Because I do.
Yeah, like, it gets a little questionable there. And, so, when making playlists, everyone, remember that you have the playlist that you make for yourself.
Yes.
And then you have a playlist for general
Other
consumption.
people.
And that sometimes they can cross over and sometimes no. They're just for you.
Also, I would like to apologize to our listeners for my mouth breathing at them this entire episode. We've got a new mic set up that has the mic right in front of me. And as I mentioned before, my lungs don't work so good. So I'm used to a certain level of you can just mouth breathe like your normal asthmatic self. But it's picking it up. And I apologize.
Oh, you did. No one probably noticed.
Oh, they noticed.
And with that, this has been the Clockwork Cabaret. She is Lady Attercop.
And they are Emmett Davenport.
And it's not work we do. It's love. Heavy breathing love.
Just wet, heavy love.
This is Mad Wasp Radio, home of the hits.